Loyalty, deception, honor, and betrayal. The game begins anew when the epic series Game of Thrones returns. Just one part of your free preview of HBO Max. You'll experience all the must-see originals and the biggest Hollywood movies you won't want to miss. Watch it all anytime. There's nothing else like it. Don't miss a free preview of HBO Max Friday, March 29th until Monday, April 1st. Sign up for HBO and Max and get your first month free. Call 601-8992 or visit cablebahamas.com to subscribe today.
Good evening, Bahamas. You are tuned in to NB12 broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, BBC CEO responds to the church's scathing criticism. Shocking details uncovered in 2 NIB reports, but we won't know them for a while. Government orders an audit of Borco, plus more civil servants walk off the job. I'm Bonnie Toot, and NB12 starts right now. Topping news tonight, a referendum on oil drilling won't be held for at least another 2 years. However, the Bahamas National Citizens Coalition has wasted no time pushing its agenda. You might have seen the large signs being erected here in New Providence calling for an additional 25% of oil royalties and the establishment of a sovereign trust fund. The group, which includes the church and trade union movement, made headlines last week when it blasted Bahamas Petroleum Company and questioned its true intentions. Well, BBC CEO fired back today and also gave some insight into the need to hire Davis & Co., the law firm owned by Deputy Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis.
Bahamas Petroleum isn't a shady entity.
Despite its best efforts to win over the church and trade union movement support ahead of the proposed oil referendum, BPC has received scorching criticism from the religious community and even a government member of parliament. Last week, the National Citizens Coalition called BPC a venture capitalist group that does not have Bahamians' best interest at heart, while BEC Chairman Leslie Miller suggested last year that government entertain a more experienced company. Today, BPC CEO Simon Potter responded to those claims, insisting that the company has absolutely nothing to hide.
We're a transparent company, we're a well-funded company, and we're a well-managed company. We're listed on the London Stock Exchange, and so as such, we're required to comply with the codes of practices, the regulations, and the laws that govern that listing. Not only the laws of the United Kingdom, but also the laws of the Bahamas.
Sitting in the boardroom of the company's head office in southwestern New Providence, Potter also sought to explain the need to hire various law firms, namely Davis & Co., which previously represented the company before the 2012 general election. Perry Christie also served as a consultant for BPC before returning as Prime Minister.
When you first come to explore, you seek a license to explore. And that license is issued by the government, by one of its ministries, and so we enter into a negotiation with the ministry to secure that right to explore. And so we employ a number of firms to help us in negotiating, discussing, understanding the laws, the regulations, the compliance activities that we need to undertake in order to be considered a company worthy of such a license.
Davis and Christie have both insisted that they severed ties with BPC before it became an issue in the lead-up to the election. Government's financial arrangement with the oil and gas exploration company has also become an issue in recent weeks, with the Citizens Coalition even erecting large signs calling for the establishment of a sovereign trust fund. Considering the many risks BPC is taking, its CEO says he considers the 25% oil royalty government will receive a fair deal.
Now, royalty comes off the top. So, for example, if we earn $1, immediately 25 cents of that dollar goes to the government. We, the company, then have to pay off the loans that have accrued to develop the facility, the project in the first place. We then have to pay off the operating costs. And then it's only after that that the company gets to take its share, its profit.
National Insurance Minister Shane Gibson says he's had a chance to take a look at that long-delayed 100-plus page report on allegations of corruption and mismanagement at the National Insurance Board that he received on Sunday. Today, he called the contents shocking and worse than he thought they would be. However, you probably won't get to see the details anytime soon. Gibson told reporters that once it's properly scrutinized and he receives advice from the AG, decisions would be made on the way forward. One thing that he said is very apparent from the report is some individuals thought their positions gave them more authority than they really did. But does that mean criminal charges are pending?
I'm not a lawyer, and I don't advise myself. And so I wouldn't want to comment on that. I would simply say that we'll be referring to the AG office, and the AG Attorney General, who is a lawyer for the government ministry, will then decide as to exactly what, if anything, should be done. So it's really difficult for me to say because I'm not a lawyer.
The initial audit was expanded to cover not just allegations first made by former NIB Chairman Greg Moss, but also 17 allegations made by NIB Director Algernon Cargill in court documents. Auditors were also asked to investigate the Sandilands project and controversial bonuses and salary increases approved for NIB executive management between 2008 and 2012. The Public Accounts Committee has said it will also probe the accounts of NIB once it receives that report.
But if they do have jurisdiction, I have no difficulty with that. I mean, not only would they be able to probe it, the entire public will be able to, because we're going to make this information eventually available to the entire public. And so if they have authority where they can use the Public Accounts Committee to, in the way they use it for government accounts, then I offer no objection to that.
Auditors did not interview Cargill or Moss, but they said Cargill, who is currently suing the board, contributed to their final report in the form of an affidavit. Meantime, government has ordered an on-site audit of the Bahamas Oil Refining Company, or BORCO, and all of its operations on Grand Bahama. Environment Minister Kenred Dorsett says that decision was made following 3 BORCO oil spills this year alone.
It has now given us an opportunity to arrange for an on-site audit of BORCO and all of its operations. And it is the beginning, I believe, of us finally advancing a proper regulatory regime for those in the petroleum and oil sector, including petroleum retailers.
The most recent spill happened on Friday. We still don't know what caused the spill or how much oil leaked. On Monday, Prime Minister Christie met with senior executives from Buckeye Partners, the owners of the BORCO terminal. Dorsett described those talks as candid.
The meeting with the executives of BORCO gave us an opportunity to speak quite candidly with them regarding our concerns, having regard to the fact that we've had so many oil spills in the Grand Bahama area.
Despite yesterday's protest by Cuban nationals outside the Bahamas consulate in Miami and a reported hunger strike by Cuban detainees at the Carmichael Road Detention Center, Cuba's ambassador to the Bahamas insists that relations between our two countries remain very good. He also noted that Cubans detained here in the Bahamas are healthy. Christina McNeil reports.
Yesterday morning, fewer than a dozen Cubans protested outside the Bahamas consulate in Miami, claiming a violation of women's rights by Bahamian custodians. While today MB12 spoke to Guzman, who explained that perhaps that protest should have taken place elsewhere.
It was informed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and also by the Immigration Department. They informed us that they were in a good conditions, held good conditions. The Bahamian doctors visit them and check that. And yesterday I read an article in the newspaper that said that the Minister Mitchell said that finally they found that they had food in their rooms. So they don't want to eat the food that prepared in the detention center, but they were eating some food. So at the end of the day, it looks like there was not any hunger strike there. This protest yesterday just in front of the Embassy of the Bahamas in Miami. And in my personal opinion, they're supposed to protest. If they want to protest, they're supposed to do that in front maybe of the Department of State of the US government, you know? Because at the end of the day, those persons that arrive by illegal means to the Bahamas is because the government of the US denied them the visa to migrate to US by legal means. Why? Because the Cubans are the only citizens that once time they arrive by illegal means in US soil, they get citizenship and other privilege.
18 Cuban immigrants were on a hunger strike last week in protest of their repatriation. Acting Director of Immigration William Pratt told our news team that the group was at the Carmichael Road Detention Center for several months and applied for asylum but did not meet the requirements for the request. Guzman claims illegal migration is being encouraged by the United States government as Cubans in search of a different life are granted citizenship provided they get to the U.S. legally or illegally.
If you check all the forms that they complete at the detention center, you will see that all of them said that they are migrating by economic reason, not by political reason. Of course, they know that if they request a political asylum, they have a chance to go to US. You know, but this is just an excuse. But really, they have not any political excuse.
There are currently 64 Cuban detainees at the Carmichael Road Detention Center. Guzman says his government is awaiting repatriation dates from the Bahamas government.
Once time the Cuban citizens arrive in the detention center, we have to wait that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs requests us to start a repatriation process. So right now, we are waiting for the proposal of the day for 18 of them, and the rest we are waiting to start the repatriation process.
Guzman maintains that Cuba and the Bahamas continue to enjoy a very good political relationship. Reporting for NB12, I'm Christina McNeil.